Hello, I'm Adam White. Welcome to Spring TV on sport927.com.au. Well, this is where the action's going to be on Saturday. We're about 50 metres out from the winning post here in the home straight at Moonee Valley, getting ready for the Cox Plate. And someone that is certainly getting ready for the Cox Plate is Craig Williams, because he's going to ride the favourite, his favourite horse, Miss Finland, and he is super confident that he is on the right horse going into the Cox Plate. Here's Craig Williams, the final word.
I'm delighted by the way that she is racing, even the way that she's working in the morning. She's more relaxed. We know she's got the best turn of foot. The most interesting thing about Miss Finland is the fact that every time David sets her for a grand final, she usually wins it. So, and I know after last year, I was lucky enough to be in the winner's circle. But I know that the fire was lit 12 months ago. And ever since then, Miss Finland and all the connections have wanted to win the Tattersalls Cox Plate. So that's what she's here for. And really, you can't question her form. She's been beaten twice. And like I said, she can have excuses for both of them.
Craig, how does that then sit with you about the fact that 12 months in the plan and you're the one that has to finish the job in 2 minutes? How do you feel about that?
How lucky am I? I think it's great, but when you say how about the planning, you say Miss Finland, I always hope to be one of her extra legs as part of Miss Finland and the operation. So this is the exciting time. The worrying time is how she went and how she come back. And when I was able to do a pre-work, she was a lot more solid and stronger, and it was really exciting. When we saw her step out, we just said, how good is she? And then unfortunately people have not been on her bandwagon because she's been beaten twice at Group 1 level, weight for age, and really was pace related to a certain degree in both of them. And she was really, those horses that she was racing against were hard and raced, where she was second up and third up. Now she's going to the Cox Plate, fourth up and in great order.
That was Craig Williams. What about Mark Kavanagh? He's got 2 runners going into the Cox Plate, Devil Moon and also Divine Madonna, trying to put the disappointment of last week right behind him. He starts by talking about Devil Moon, and for the first time this week, it's fair to say, he was talking up her chances.
She's worked very well, and she's very happy within herself, and I think that's the main thing. If you've got a horse that's fit and well, we don't want to break the clocks with her or anything like that. Just got to make sure they get into a race like this where they're happy.
Tuesday morning, she worked well?
She did. She's worked well and trained right on since her previous run, so we're pretty happy with her.
So that was Mark Kavanagh talking about Devil Moon, but what about Divine Madonna? She's got a real chance as well, according to the trainer.
She's a remarkable mare that's capable of anything. You sort of sit back and see her performances over a mile where she comes from such a long way back, and the sections are so wonderful. Why not give her a try at a Cox Plate? She canters along behind them, she spends nothing early in a race and unleashes an amazing sectional. I mean, if she can do that at 2,000 metres, she's going to be a real chance.
Well, back in 1986, Frank Ritchie won the Cox Plate with Bone Crusher. This time round, his son, Sean Ritchie, is at Moonee Valley with the unknown quantity in the race in Magic Cape. This is what he thinks going into the race.
He's definitely a long shot in the race, but it's not a hopeless long shot. The New Zealand weight for age form has been indifferent in previous seasons, but it's got a good record on the Cox Plate, so hopefully it'll hold up okay. He's certainly one of the up-and-coming horses in New Zealand racing.
Been here for just over a week. How's the horse settled in down at Brian Jenkins' Scotland?
Horse has settled in terrific, he really has. The volume of food he's eating here is greater than he does at home, so he only had his 3rd run in the Celt Capital Stakes last start, so from an improvement point of view, this campaign he's still on the way up as well. In fact, whether he's good enough or not, I suppose that's got to be answered on Saturday, but I'm certainly sure he'll give us his peak performance.
Well, we've been charting the progress of El Segundo throughout the week at Caulfield, but tomorrow it's all about Luke Nolan. He gets the ride in his first Cox Plate on El Segundo, one of the real chances going in, and he couldn't be happier. He wouldn't be swapping his ride for anyone.
He hasn't had a setback at all. Everything's sort of come together nicely, and he's had a trouble-free preparation, so his job's done. Now it's my go.
He worked well here on Saturday morning.
He worked excellently. He wasn't out here to break any speed records, but the work was very pleasing, and it was out of a horse that was going to run very well tomorrow.
Well, that's the final word here from Moonee Valley, just 24 hours out from the running of the Cox Plate. We'll be back next week with more action in the Spring Carnival here on sport927.com.au.